Hey everybody, Tom here, and today I want to teach you how to set up a game of Vindication. Vindication is thematically, it's an adventure game. We'll talk more about the theme in the gameplay video, but yeah, it's kind of this thematic game of going on an adventure through an island. It has gorgeous artwork. Mechanically, it's more like a Euro style kind of a game with some resource management kind of thing. Anyway, before I take off the lid, let me just point out I did buy the upgraded version of this game. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the upgraded version and the regular version come in the same size box, same packaging, all of that stuff. And I will do my very best to point out which things have been upgraded as I'm taking stuff out of the box. But I just wanted to kind of say that in full disclosure. And also that inside of this box, it comes with, they call it expansions. But it's essentially a whole lot of modules that you can expand your game with, take things in and out of. And I will be setting up some of those expansions and other ones I'll leave out. But I will be very specific as we go through it. Now, in this game, the game board is a hexagonal shape, so that's why you're kind of seeing this weird shape here. Let me just take out the board and put it over there. It did come packaged with this nice piece of foam, which I'm keeping because it helps keep things from shifting and sliding and stuff like that. And now we have lots and lots of components in here. And again, whether you bought the upgraded version or the regular version, I'm pretty sure it comes with all of those expansion modules I briefly mentioned. And I'm saying that right now because here's one of those things. So you can see right here, this is the Myths and Wonders expansion. Essentially in the game, in the expansion, you could choose to fight this monster. I'm going to not play with this expansion in my gameplay video. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this out for now. Now, my version came with the art and lore of the Awakening. As I mentioned, the artwork is just really, really stunning. I'm not sure if this comes in the regular version or not. So if you know, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take this out. We have the visual guide / rule book, which is a pretty good rule book. I did end up with a couple of questions that needed some clarification, and it sounded like the publisher and the rule book writer, they're already aware of those issues, and they're going to fix that for the second version of this rule book. But I'll point those out as well. Okay, so we have those things here. Next up, we have a scumbag, which is hilarious. It has the orange nebula icon on the back. We're going to be putting tiles into this bag and drawing them out. Full disclosure, I wish this bag was a little bit bigger than what it is for the purpose that it serves, but it's still really nice to have this bag here with this really pretty embroidery and pun. So, we're going to be using this in a minute. Here, I'll put it over there for now. Now, I'm pretty sure that no matter which version of the game you got, it comes with game trays, and if you've seen my channel before, or if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm pretty obsessed with game trays, so I couldn't have been happier to see game trays here. And game trays is spelled with a Z. It's the name of the company that makes these holders. They're brilliant. They're awesome. It's my favorite trend in board gaming right now. Anyway, we have this main tokens tray, so we're going to need these. Let me pull that out, put it right there. We'll get into that in a minute. And in terms of upgraded components, these miniatures that you see down here, with the exception of this one, I'm pretty sure that all of the games come with this one. This is a first player marker, but I'm pretty sure that these other figures are all from the expansion. And there's space in here for something that did not come in my box. I've asked about it. I haven't seen an answer. I'm really not sure what goes in here. Hopefully I get an answer soon. If I do, I'll throw it in the Klingon subtitles or I'll annotate it somehow. But we also have, each player has an individual player tray here that holds all of their components. This game can play up to 5 players, so there are 5 trays. There's not blue and red, unfortunately, but there is blue and purple, so that's going to be my plan. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull these trays. I'm going to put them over there for right now. And then in here, we have, I'm digging down in there, we have more player trays and some player aids. All of these are really thick, super sturdy cardboard, and then the player aids are really super duper thin paper. My intention is to laminate this with kind of a thicker lamination just so it fits a little bit better. I didn't do it before recording this video because I didn't want it to get even more glary than it's going to be. But yeah, so why am I saying that? I don't know. We're taking out 2 player aids. And then down here there are 2 different player boards per player. So there's blue and purple. Let me put the rest of these in here for now. And with these player boards, one of these is for the base game, so we're going to definitely need the blue and the purple ones of these. Okay, and then these ones are actually for an expansion. And you can kind of see here with this, again, incredible artwork, that these miniatures match these icons up here. And this is one of the expansions. Oh, it doesn't say on the back. This is one of the expansions that you can play with that I'm going to choose not to play with in this game. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put these back in the box, but I just wanted to point out these miniatures are only used when you're using this expansion here. I'm going to put that back there for now. Okay, so we have all of the individual player pieces that we need, so I can put those back in. Next thing that we're going to need is we're going to need these hexagonal tiles. These are going to make up the map of the board. So I'm going to kind of pull these aside for right now. And what we're going to do is 2 big expansions that you've seen. One is those player boards. The other is that dragon board that I already threw over that way. But most of the expansions come in the form of these hexagonal tiles. And when you add those into the game, you need to be really careful about how you do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over closer and I want to explain how to choose which of these hexagons you should be using in your game, kind of depending on how you want to play. So when I'm setting up this game, I'm going to kind of take you through the process that I go through to decide which of these tiles that I want to use. And the back of the player turn, the player helper, the player aid, has a list of the different kinds of hexagons here. And so all of these hexagons, these these map tiles, these would be what you would use if you're doing the most basic version of the game. This is the base set tiles here. And then down here it has a list of the expansion tiles down here. But it's not so easy, like you can't just throw in the expansions and call it good. If you're going to add some expansions in, you got to take some tiles out because you will always use 19 tiles. So with that said, I'm going to kind of take you through how I would organize these and look at them to help me decide what to play with. First thing I do is I kind of sort them by color. And we have our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Okay, these are from the base set, so yeah. Then we also have our secondary colors. We have an orange, purple, and green. Okay, also they need to be in the base set. There are 2 of these tiles up here and 1 of each of these tiles down here. Let me also point out, I'll have to point this out in the gameplay video, but each tile has a side with 1 sphere right here, and then like a fortified side with 3 spheres like that. It won't matter because these are going to go into the bag, into the scum bag to be drawn, but I just want you to be aware. You might be noticing some of these have 3 spheres and some have 1. But yeah, okay, so we have those tiles there. Then we're going to have some other kinds of tiles. We're going to have this Academy tile, which they do recommend you play in the base set. It's a single one. I'm going to put it up here for now. And then there are 3 in tiles with the word in. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these up here for now. And then, what else have we got? Oh, we have 2 brown tiles. Okay, they're called the command post. We have 2, I don't know, what would you call that, navy blue tiles called the monastery. And we have 2 shrine tiles. So these are 19 tiles, and these are the base set tiles right here. All right, so those are the base tiles. Let me kind of lay out the other kinds of expansion-like tiles that we've got going on. We have, sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth. We have these. This is a set of 3 that go together. 2 crystal mine tiles and a jewel crafter tile. So I'm going to put these down here. Again, as I decide to add expansions in, I'm going to have to take some tiles out. So that's kind of why I'm organizing it this way. We have a single tile called the Well of Wishes. We'll go ahead and put that down here. We have the Temple Ruins. We have 2 tiles that are called Sacred Stone tiles. And then we have one, there we go, one menagerie tile. And then, kind of interestingly, so that same dragon board that we had here it is. Okay, so this dragon board matches this tile here. That's another expansion that I've already said I'm not going to use, but again, just to show you how I might organize this as I was thinking through how I'm playing, that's what I'm doing. And then we have a bunch of these building site tiles. So the way this works is, in general, whichever tiles you pick, they're all going to go into the scum bag. You need 19 tiles to go into the bag. You could choose to put building site tiles in the bag instead of picking specific ones, so that when you grab a building site tile out of the bag, you could then replace it with a different tile that you want to put there. So I'm going to choose to not do that. I would rather just have the tiles come out randomly. So I'm going to just go ahead and automatically remove the building site tiles. And if that was confusing, check the rule book. It will have more information. Those are just like temporary spots on a map until you decide what to put there. And then, I've already said I'm not going to be fighting this big monster. In my video, I want to keep the gameplay video relatively simple, so we're going to go ahead and not use that one. Next, we have to decide which of the expansions that we want to use. I kind of threw the question up on Twitter, just kind of saying, hey, what do you guys want to see me play with? And I got 50-50 response. 50% of the people said they just wanted the base game. 50% said they wanted expansions. So I'm going to have to kind of pick and choose some of both. All right, so for sure, I'm going to want to play with the Well of Wishes. I'm going to play with the Temple Ruins. And I want to play with the Menagerie for sure. Then these two sets, I think what we'll do is, just to keep the game relatively simple, what if we... Oh man, this is kind of a tough choice. What if we just use these three expansions and not use these other ones, okay? I'll talk about what you would do if you did have these other ones in there, but I think I'm most interested in playing with these three expansions and not these tiles here. So now that we know which expansions I want to add in, you're going to count how many tiles in total you are going to be adding in. So I'm going to be adding in these three tiles, and then we need to take away 3 tiles from this area here and make sure that it's nice and even on the camera. Okay, now there's a system in place for how many tiles you're going to add to which tiles you're going to take away. You are always going to keep 2 in tiles in the game for sure. So I'm going to add this to the stuff that we're keeping in. If you're going to be adding only 1 or 2 tiles, the rulebook recommends you remove either your extra in or your academy tile. Okay, so if you're going to add only 1 or 2 tiles, take out 1 or both of these tiles. If you're adding in 3 tiles, which is what we're doing, then they say to take out 1 of each of these tiles for a basic game, or if you want a tougher game, take out 1 of each of these tiles. Okay, but essentially you always need to keep these together in a set. You shouldn't have more reds than blue or yellow. You shouldn't have more browns than the navy or the white. Okay, so we're going to be adding 3 tiles. To keep things simple, I'm just going to go ahead and remove 1 of each of these. If you were going to add 4 tiles into the game, you would want to take 1 of each of these and then 1 of these 2. If you're going to play with 5 tiles, then they say take out 1 of each of these and 1 in and the academy. If you're going to add in 6 tiles, then they say take 1 of these and 1 of these away. So they kind of have this like system on how to pull stuff out. But as I said, I'm going to be adding these 3 tiles in, which means I'm going to take these 3 tiles out. And now we should be at 19. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So now that we've got these 9 tiles, we're going to go ahead and gather them up together. Oh, almost there. And we're just going to take the bag and dump them into the bag and give them as much of a shuffle as you can. That's kind of why I was saying I wish this bag was bigger. You can't really shuffle. So in my brain, it's more of a blind draw. I just try to grab one kind of at random. But yeah, now we have our map tiles decided, that's kind of the toughest part of setup, is deciding which of the map tiles you're going to be using. But we've got that now, so good. I'm just going to put it to the side for now. What I'm going to do next is we're going to go ahead and set up the player board. So we're going to open it up, and I like this kind of trend that sometimes happens in games. One side of the board more focuses on the artwork. It takes away a lot of the like dotted line spaces to put things in. And the other side has labeled spaces for everything to go. So we're just going to go ahead and open up the board like this. Oops, knocked the camera, sorry. And the next thing we need to do is we need to set up the cards on the board. So the cards that you use are going to be dependent on the tiles that you've drawn. But there are some cards that will always be in the game. So you can see here there is a blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green spaces on the board, and there are places for cards to go. So here in the box we have yellow cards. I'm just going to give these a quick shuffle. I always shuffle as I clean up the game anyway, but just so we are all comfortable. And you know, you would probably put these around the board like this, but for recording I'm going to turn them a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and put the draw pile face down. This is labeled for over here, but again, as I'm recording, I'm going to be moving stuff around. And then you will always turn the top card up into that spot there. Next up, we're going to grab the red ones, give them just a quick shuffle. And let's see, what was I doing? I'm doing that on that. Okay, I just want to be consistent. So down here, it'll be like this. Flip this up, and again, the board is labeled, but I want to be consistent as we're recording. Whatever that means, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then we've got our blue companions here. Okay, I guess what I'm saying is I want to do draw pile, discard, draw, discard, draw, discard, like that. Okay, and then you will also always play with the like you're always going to play with these colors. So grab some purple cards. And let's see, I have the biggest bird outside of my window right now, making a lot of noise. It kind of startled me. Okay, so we got our purple one. Let's see, for the camera, I think we're facing it this way. Orange, one tiny complaint is it's a little hard to distinguish orange from yellow in these. But, you know, they're clearly labeled on the back with a color, or with an icon, so that's helpful. All right. Let's see, so we're going to have our draw and our discard, and then finally our green cards here. Like this. Okay. So our draw and our discard, like that. All right, next thing that I want to add, we got to keep looking at our cards, is the cards are going to be dependent on the tiles that we added in, as I mentioned. Remember, we added in the Pet Menagerie, we added in the Temple Ruins, and the Well of Wishes. Okay, so we kept those out. I mentioned that because we added the Pet Menagerie, we're going to have some pets available to us. So I'm going to shuffle these up, and we need to put these here. Let's put them up here. So we got our scumbag. Okay, so for the pets, you're going to start with the pets face down. After they've been shuffled, then you're going to draw the top three, and they'll be kind of there and available. Next up, we have our deck of secret quest cards. Each player starts with one of these cards, so we're going to hand those out. And then if you were not playing with the Sacred Temple, then you would just put these back in the box, but we are playing with that, so we're just going to add this close to the pets. So we're just going to go ahead and keep these right here. And I should also point out, really, in the game, when you're dealing these out to the players, each player starts with two, and they're going to pick one and discard the other. That way you can kind of tweak your strategy and decide what thing you want to go for. I just don't want to be making that decision on camera, so I'm choosing to just give everybody one quest. But yeah, in the regular game, you would just hand everybody two, let them pick one, and have them discard the other one. Next up, we have this loot deck, which you only use when you're fighting that big monster, the tile with the dragon. I'm not doing that, so I don't need these at all, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave them in there. After that, we have journey cards. So these ones we need to shuffle, and these ones you really do hand one to each player. So I'm going to just hand one to the blue, one to the purple. And then next up we have end game triggers. Let's head over that way again. And sorry, I think I just hit my microphone. I was itching my nose. All right, so end game triggers, you're going to put them here and then draw the top two like that. And then the final deck of cards that's hiding back here, these are kind of like, these are like the meaner cards of the game. They match, sorry, hold on, sorry. There are crystal cards. And if you were using that crystal expansion, then you would use these, but that's not one of the expansions that we're doing. And then the last pile is a bunch of these cards that match the other cards that are already on the board on the back side. But then on the front side, rather than having a matching color on the sides like you see here, they're black. Now this is another expansion that do I want to add this in? I think, yeah, I will add this in. I was going to not add it in because I didn't want to be, like, it's hard for me to be a traitor against myself, but it would be good to see these in the game because you can get more player interaction this way. So let's just take a quick second. I'm going to shuffle these in. I probably should have made that decision before. I just forgot. That's okay. So there's a chance that these could have ended up, you know, in the first draw there, but that's all right. We're good people. Okay, so we're just going to get these in as quickly as possible. Trying to get them separated so they don't get too clumped together. And yeah, so these add kind of a more negative element to the game. And so, of course, you're welcome to just keep those out if you'd rather not have your game be so negative. But yeah, there's 3 of each color. And I'm just going to add a titch more player interaction, but it seems like an expansion module thing that I am happy to add in. Okay. Except I don't think that there are any orange ones. I think I said there was 1 of each color. I don't think... Yeah, probably not any orange ones because those are monsters. All right, give these a quick shuffle. Something like that. Okay, now believe it or not, we have everything out of the main box that we need. So I'm going to just go ahead and get that thing out of the way. But we do have some stuff from the components trays that we're going to need out and available. All right. So we have some dice. They can just hang out in here for the time being. And then there are these coins. Now, I'm pretty sure that even in the regular version of the game, you do get metal coins. The way this works is 15. You're going to see 15 is kind of a greenish color. All of our scorings are going to start at 15. And then around the board, we're going to put, in increments of 15, we're going to be putting these coin things here. So it's a little off the board, but we're going to put, or off the camera now. Yeah, we need to put one of these at 30, another one at 45, one at 60, and one at 75. Next up, what we need to do is we need to take these tiles. These are called proficiency tiles. And the way that I have this organized is each stack has 1 of each color. And you want to grab a number of stacks equal to your number of players minus 1. So I'm doing a 2-player game, so I only need 1 stack. Oops, I will pick that up. And we need to put these around the board in these spaces here. So got these going on. And it's off camera, but the red one goes down there too. And then we got our orange one. These tokens here are going to be for the expansion stuff. So the crystals expansion that we're not using, you'll see this artwork really matches that stuff there. So that's what these tokens are if you were using the crystals. I'm pretty sure these tokens are only if you're fighting the dragon, so we won't need those. And then these are the wishing well tokens. They all have this wishing well on one side, and then they have something different on the back side. I keep these shuffled and face down just so I can draw straight out of the token bag when I need it. And then we're also going to need these. These are mastery tiles. Once again, there's 1 in each color. And you kind of just want to have these near the board. They did a great job with this tray lid. Here, let me show you. I'm going to move this tray out of the way. Essentially, the tray lid has some indents so that you can have these nicely on display. Whether you choose to do that or not, I don't know. It's kind of a cool feature that they have it. So I honestly don't think that I'll be using these. I think, let's see, no, I'm just going to put them up here. So we'll grab these, and we're just going to keep them above the board. That way it just takes up a little bit less space, and obviously we got to make it look pretty. Now, with the exception of the individual player pieces, the board is set up. So let's go to our individual player areas and get those things set up too. Alright, so if you've watched my channel before, you know that I love to add a pop of color to my player colors just to really emphasize where the camera is as we're playing along. And so I'm going to do that same thing here. This is going to be the blue players play area. And we're going to go ahead and pop open our components. And I'm going to end up keeping this nearby. And let me also say, oh, there's my player aid. That's too glary. We're going to put that on that side. Okay. I'm going to add my own yellow cubes. These are just my own personal supply over here. I'll talk about that more in the gameplay video, but that's just going to help us track what we're doing on our turn. Inside of this player component piece here, we have ourselves. Now, each of our characters are totally the same as everybody else, with the exception of the artwork. Okay, so we have different artwork on everybody's. And the only way that I guessed that this was the blue players was that it was on the punch board with the other blue players punching stuff, but it really doesn't matter which one it is. So your blue player might have different artwork than this one. That's not a big deal in the least. So I actually think we're going to put this higher, I'm guessing. Just trying to plot this out. We're going to keep her down here. Now, these are movement pieces. These are going to track how much you can move. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Some people like to keep those in the tray just to minimize clutter. I'm going to go ahead and keep those like this probably. And we'll keep them right there. And then as we upgrade our movement, we can just flip things over and turn them around and all that stuff. Okay. Now, this triangle, do you remember the extra player board that had like those big monuments? You only use this triangle if you're using that expansion. And in fact, one of the upgrades in this upgraded version is it comes with a metal triangle. I just like to keep the metal triangle down here because then I can see where the blue player is when everything's packed up. So I'm not using those components. This is going to be our score tracker. This is going to be our position. And we have a bunch of cubes. Now, you're always going to start with 8 cubes, I'm pretty sure, in potential. You can see it says potential right here. And then you're going to start with 8 cubes in your influence over here. Oh, and 2. Did I get 8? I'm missing one. Hold on. 4. Oh, I got one too many over there. Okay, so 8 over here, 8 here, 2 here. And then 3 are going to go back in on the board. And so for now, I'm done with this, so I can just get that out of the way. We have our secret quest, so we're just going to keep that secret here for now. We'll talk more about that during the gameplay. I realize I'm off center. In fact, let's fix it. I'm going to snap and it will be fixed. Magic. Okay, so every player gets a journey card to start off. So this journey card is going to basically get us set up on the board. It's going to take these pieces and get them on the board more or less. So it's going to tell us that our body washes ashore. We need to place your medallion. Now this is a metal medallion, and I'm pretty sure it's metal in the regular game as well. And you just snap it onto this blue stand here. Your medallion starts on track 2. Your scoring track starts at 15, is what this is saying. And then it says a traveler retrieves you. Randomly draw a yellow companion card, and then we need to make sure it doesn't have this icon. We'll talk about that in a second. And this tells you how to start your cubes. Place 8 of your blocks on potential, 8 into influence, 2 into conviction. Okay? And then 1 on each on the knowledge, what is it? Yeah, knowledge, inspiration, and strength. So this is just kind of helping you get set up on the board. So I'm going to just go ahead and put those over there. So what did it say? 15 for our starting score. We were starting up, we washed up, here's our island. We washed up on shore at space 2. And then we're going to put a cube on the yellow, blue, and red spots. And then that card told us that we also start with a yellow companion card. So red, yellow, and blue are primary colors. Those all have different kinds of companions. We need to start off with a yellow one, and we need to make sure that it doesn't have this icon on the top. So what I usually do, because I know you should draw from the top, I just flip the deck over, and I grab one that doesn't have a black border, probably. I just grab the first one I see that doesn't have that icon. And that way, I don't need to stress too much about shuffling because I was looking at the bottom anyway. All right, so let's bring this back to our player. Now, one place where the rulebook was non-specific is when you get your companion, it's going to have this icon right here to show that you are earning some extra honor or points. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put my companion. We watched up on shore, and Zoe, Barrier to Darkness, is our helper here. But we start off with 2 honor for having her with us. So we'll just go ahead and move ourselves twice. Alright, so now we just need to get the red player set up. It's going to be a little faster because I don't have to explain everything again. And so I'm going to go ahead and lay down my own colored paper, bring in my own yellow cubes. That's just going to help us track our turn actions. And then we have our secret quest is going to go here. Oh, where's my board? There's my board. Okay. Yes, I really don't have a purple paper, if you're wondering. We have our journey card that's going to get us started. We'll look at that in just a second. And, I should have pointed out, yeah, even though our artwork's different, you always need to start with this black side up, not white side up, okay? So there we are. We are, it just says you, the wretched, guilt-ridden scumbag. We'll talk about the themes of that in a second. Do you know what? I don't like the way that this camera's looking. There we go. That's just a little bit better. Okay, so we've got our journey. That's just going to help us set up. We'll look at that in a second. But we can do the obvious stuff. How did I have this? Oh, it's a little different. I might rearrange off camera. So we're going to get our movement cards. I'll just put them down here for now. We're going to be putting this on the board shortly. Ignoring the triangle because that's an expansion I'm not doing. And we know that 3 cubes. 1, 2... Those are going to the board, and all the other cubes are coming down here. 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that should be 8. What have I got? I don't know. I'm going to have to count. I feel like they're flying all over. I'm just trying to go faster. Okay, so there's 8, 8, and 2. Okay, so I can go ahead and get this tray out of the way. We're going to bring these to the board. And let's see, our journey card says we're going to start on 3. Our scoring space starts on 15. We're going to get a red companion, and then everything else is the same. So we wash up on shore on spot 3. Kind of unique. Sometimes they end up on different spaces around the board. There's 1 card for each number. Our scoring starts at 15. Then we need to add cubes to the yellow, blue, and red. And then also, when you place your character, you need to draw some map tiles. They're washing up on shore, and they're going to see some places. So I'm kind of digging in here, just trying to grab one at random. We'll go top down. And as you look, the one thing you want to make sure you're careful of is to not put it with the 3 circles face up. You need to put it with the 2 or the 1 circle face up, like that. It doesn't necessarily matter the way I'm playing. One of the expansion will flip those tiles. I'm not going to be doing that. That's okay. All right, and then we've got this tile here, and we only put the tiles next to where our characters are. And then, oh, okay, we got the other shrine. All right, so then we have no idea what else is going on the map. We'll discover that as we play along. But we did need to start with a red companion, and oh, yeah, I got lucky. Okay, didn't have that marking, so that's good, but we do need to give ourselves 2 more honor. So we both start at 17. And we can go ahead and add our companion down here to hang out with us. Something like that. All right, so there you have it. I know that felt like a lot, probably. Just remember, the biggest, toughest part to set up is deciding which of the map tiles you're going to be playing with. And I realize I probably didn't do the greatest job explaining. Hopefully it was semi-clear. Other than that, all of the colors are going to help you get things right into place the way they need to go. Those player trays help out a ton getting things set up. I know that as I'm looking at how long this took to record, it's a little overwhelming, but I think it will edit down. Fingers crossed. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in seeing how this game is going to play out, go ahead and click on the link in the description of this video, and I will teach you how to play Vindication. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!